Welcome to the Conscious Hour. Now let's get after the Western media. You know, there's an FCC, Federal Communications, and there's laws in there that says basically you can't make up news. And if you do, you're liable for your lies. So just think about what J.D. Vance has been saying and what Donald Trump's been saying and what all the major networks are saying. It's like, we're winning this war, blah, 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 blah. It's been going on for a long time. Listen to this one.
To a very high level. They want to show, that, we are untouched, by some miracle, we're always saved because we're the chosen ones. But the fact of the matter is the Lebanese resistance is hammering the living daylight out of them in Lebanon. They're roasting them really hardly. 73 Merkava tanks and other IDF machinery were blasted by the Lebanese resistance since the 2nd of March. We're talking about 24 days so far. Anytime they try and go in, they get blasted. The Lebanese resistance chases them, blasts them wherever they are, hammering them, punishing them. That is leading the IDF chief of staff to start saying now that, well, look, we are all really on the verge of collapse. Why? It's not just the fact that they are exhausted militarily. They suffered very heavy losses. Their reservists are overstretched. And even though they even put people with mental health disorders in the army back, many of them commit suicide because of, what they've done, their atrocities. And then the fact that they have been serving for way too long because there is no replacement for them. But their leader, the war criminal, is insisting on still using them as cannon fodder for his genocidal campaign or campaigns. And they're getting hammered heavily, especially by the active units. So if we want to talk about, for example, the Syrian front, the Israeli forces go to Syria, and it's as if, they go there and have fun. There's no resistance there by the Syrian state. When they're in the West Bank, generally speaking, they abuse the civilian society, no fierce resistance or whatever. But in Lebanon now, they are facing huge resistance, probably the worst resistance they have ever seen in their lifetime. And the Lebanese resistance is making them feel the loss. They're hammering them really hard. And
so we're going to hold it right there. Now listen to this next part. This is a good one.
So Donald Trump and the United States have been saying that Iran has been eliminated, the army has been eliminated and what have you. And the interesting thing is Iran doesn't say similar things about them. They didn't say that they eliminated the American or Israeli armies. They say we eliminated bases, destroyed bases, expelled you from the region, things like that. And we have evidence on the ground. But you see, and what we don't really hear is what they say about each other. A recent leak that was published in Israel, actually, on one website, but you need to kind of dig to find these things, mentioned what was the IDF chief of staff actually saying about the state of affairs of the Israeli army. Now, they're trying to project an image of victory. They're trying to say that they're winning. They're trying to say that that's it, Iran is on the verge of collapse. But the statements that came from him are very and extremely dangerous. And they indicate a completely different story to what you're being told on mainstream media and in general. And he was speaking about the IDF being on the verge of collapse. We're going to talk about that and the recent escalations that are coming from the Lebanese resistance, the actions on the ground, and the developments to do with the war of aggression against Iran. Let's begin with the report itself. So, again, not published on many locations, but nevertheless, Israeli source at the end of the day. The IDF chief of staff is warning that the military is on the verge of collapse. In a leaked
now compare that to what J.D. Vance is saying and what the Western media is saying. It's going full speed ahead, blah, blah, blah. Like they keep telling you that Netanyahu's alive. That one just blows my mind, because if you really look at the videos that they're putting out, you can see that it's AI still. They haven't quite perfected AI. Why? Because AI doesn't give you that really depth, that the distance between your nose and just the way it looks. It's pasted on. And so the whole media in the United States is lying to you. And why? They aren't intentionally lying. They're just owned by corporations and masters up above them that's saying, this is what we're allowing you to broadcast. We don't ever want to show the fact that we're losing, that we're on the verge of destruction. Israel is on the verge of collapse. And if you go to any other media sources like YouTube and you go look at what these cities look like now, like Tel Aviv, and the fact that the desalination plants are being blown up and all this stuff that's happening, you don't even see it. So the media in the United States has been lying to you ever since October 7th, when they said it was an unprovoked attack. And that's an intentional lie, because had they done any type of historical research, they would have known that it wasn't unprovoked, that the Palestinian people had been harassed, killed, murdered, raped, pillaged, bombed, blown up for how long? Well, since 1948. So it's this whole conspiracy by the media to keep you contained in a little box, so we can go out and take all your tax dollars and spend it overseas so corporations can go make money. And the Greater Israel Project, just look at Jared Kushner. He's got $40 billion ready to start building over the dead bodies in Gaza. But there's $400 billion ready to build the entire coastline from Egypt all the way up through Lebanon. They don't show you that in the media, do they? Nope. That's why you don't want to watch mainstream media. Tune into the Conscious Hour, go onto YouTube, and look for yourself. Get educated. Don't sit back there,